far-reaching consequences and the impact my actions would have. Words cannot adequately describe the depth of pain I feel for letting you down. This is the first time in my life and academic studies that I will be accused for any form of misbehavior, not to talk of crime and fraud. For I plead for leniency and total forgiveness for my misconduct. I want to emphasize my genuine commitment to making amends. It is through this understanding of self-reflection that I willingly accept the recommendations and I wholeheartedly accept to rectify my mistakes and become a better person. Finally, I request that you tamper justice with mercy concerning the ban that was imposed on me. Thanks for your understanding and consideration. Yours sincerely, HK Major Mmesoma. Thanks.
For investigation today.
Hello, good day, viewers. When we thought that it is over, the controversial forged UTME result by Mmesoma is also sparking controversy as she appeared before the House of Representative panel and she tendered apologies to Nigerians and also to UTME. Even though a lot of people have been saying that Mmesoma was forced to tender apology, but at this point, I don't think so. I think it really happened. I think so. It really happened. So, what do you think about this? Watch this video to the end and let your opinion count.
Of JAM, do solemnly swear and affirm that the evidence I shall give before this honorable committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. For inviting the board to this event, I want to seek your indulgence that I make some preliminary remarks before going to the position of the board that I have already submitted to you. One, and the purpose of that is to assist, in my own opinion, the board in the committee in reaching a decision that is incontrovertible and then be able to provide reasons why I think so. Looking at the resolution, I urge this committee to resolve as follows. One, that Ms. Ejiko Mmesoma manipulated her results. Two, no loophole or vulnerability is identified in JAM process. Number three, to prevent such in future, there is the need for members of the public to be careful in making unfounded statements and for them to have confidence in public institutions. And finally, to commend JAM for its process and procedure. This, in my own opinion, is what the evidence I will lead or I will provide here will lead to. Mr. Chairman, sir, I have supplied a 37-page document to your committee, and I will not need to go through them unless you ask me to so do. I will just speak to it. Do I have the permission, sir, to either read or to speak to it, sir?
It's the choice to
okay. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay, sir. I started by making an introduction that the Vice Chancellors of Nigerian universities made recommendation to federal government to establish JAM in 1978. And the Vice Chancellors needed JAMB because of ensuring uniform standard of conduct of matriculation examination, hitherto being organized by each university, and the placement of suitably qualified candidates into our tertiary institutions, sir. In achieving this, the board has introduced innovations that will help to reduce human interference in its operational processes, thereby ensuring equity and fairness. Mr. Chairman, sir, the major reason for the establishment of the board, which still subsists today, was to eliminate multiple admissions. Multiple admission into various universities, because in the past, one single candidate would take 4 forms. The same candidate, very brilliant candidate, will be admitted by ABU. That same candidate is admitted by UNILAG. It's also admitted by University of Ibadan. And the candidate will now decide which of them to go. And at the time he chooses where to go, the others will have been deprived of their position. That was why the Vice Chancellors felt that instead of wasting time for people to be wasting positions, let there be one central admission process. The second one, Mr. Chairman, sir, is that at that time, the few universities and polytechnics around, candidates have to apply and buy forms to go to them. Each of them, you buy your form and you go and face the examination, taking 5, 6 examinations. So the Vice Chancellors, in their wisdom, which is substituted today, felt it is better for candidates to buy one form. And when you buy that one form, he buys one form, a candidate buys one form with the establishment of JAMB, and with one form today, that candidate is accessible to 1,130 tertiary institutions across the country. That is, it can change from one to the other with the application of one form. Mr. Chairman, sir, those calling for the scrapping of JAMB are probably oblivious of this, among other reasons, why not less than 45 countries of the world adopt the type of JAMB that we have in Nigeria. Mr. Chairman, sir, that takes me to certain clarifications on this matter. Number one, candidates who apply for UTME, they do not necessarily possess the qualification. I take it again. At the time they were sitting for the examination, more than 70% of them do not possess the prescribed qualification. The fact is that UTME is annually held before SSCE is conducted, and results of which are released months after the UTME result must have been released. In fact, Mr. Chairman, some SS1 and SS2 candidates take UTME. So UTME, contrary to the popular opinion that, oh, they have so number, those numbers do not represent the number of candidates qualified or ready for admission. Many of them take UTME as a test, log into JAMB portal, contrary to what is in the motion that candidates will log. Number three, that the assertion that the House resolved, and that's what I read from what you are saying, what I have here, sir. Mr. Chairman, what was sent to me says the House aware, that is, the House is aware that Ms. Mmesoma sat for the 2023 UTME and scored 362. I want to say this is totally false. If whoever made the House to be aware of such, I think was misleading the House. The fact was that this lady scored 249. Sir, the I also want to say, sir, that UTME exam, because the motion talk about the performance of the candidate before UTME, with due respect, sir, I believe those members of the House who have speciality in education, or particularly in education assessment, will know the difference between norm-referenced exam and criterion reference exam. Unfortunately, many people mix the two together. I would still come back to this. The examination they were comparing with UTME, they were examination that you call criterion reference exam, and the exam UTME is called norm reference examination. Mr. Chairman, sir, we do 4 things in JAM. The first one is that we do registration. And when we do the registration, candidates simply, what they do, before 2016, candidate will go to CBT center and will be saying, my name is Sisi Akuluede, and somebody else will be typing. Thereby, there can be mistake because it's not their names. But since 2017, what we did was to initially ask the candidate to send their names on their own. They will type it on their phone and send it into our platform. Nobody types the name for them. So if there is error, the error comes from the candidate, thereby reducing the possibility of error. From 2020, what we then did was that we created USSD code that is called 55019 or 66019, whereby the candidate simply sends his or her name into our platform, and as typed by him. And
from which year you created that?
Yes, sir.
From which year?
From 2018. From 2018, we started this USSD. But from 2020, we now started what we call NIMSI. That is, we relate with NIMSI. Going by the law, what candidates now do is they just type their name. That is national identification number. They sign it and send it to 55019. And our system pulls the name of the owner of that name to our center. And therefore, if there is any error, if there is any spelling, it's between you and NIMSI, thereby reducing the problem of identification theft. Nobody can pick. Once you put your name in, it brings out the name. And that's since 2020 and date of birth. Then, Mr. Chairman, sir, immediately a candidate does this, the candidate will now, with his own telephone, after sending it to the system, the candidate goes to any CBT center to provide auxiliary, just some other information. Oh, this is the university I want to attend, this I want to do, this is the program I want to run. But the basic information about him is already drawn from NIMSI. But taking into consideration the level of pranks in the system, we also make sure that the picture of the candidate comes from NIMSI, but we also take in suite the picture of the person appearing before us. That is why we now have 2 pictures, the one by NIMSI and the one. So throughout the process, we'll be looking at these 2 pictures, so that if there is a difference, we will then know that there is a problem. The second exercise, and after the exercise, the system cannot be completed unless the candidate puts his or her finger to ascertain that all the data here are correct, and biometric finger, and that's what he or she uses. No, nothing else to confirm it without the finger, and it is that same finger that admits the candidate to the examination hall on the day of the examination. The second thing we do, sir, is examination. We conduct examination for some of our candidates. Some do not. We do not conduct for some. What is the reason? we conduct examination for where supply is less than demand. Candidates who want to go into 100 level, the demand is more than the supply. So you have to conduct an exam for them to rank them. You will recollect from your various experiences that direct entry candidates don't take exam because the vacancies available for them, they cannot fill it. So that is why we conduct examination only for those to be ranked, because this demand is more than the supply. These candidates, when they do this, to print what they will take to the examination hall, they must visit our website. So every candidate knows the website where he prints his examination slip from. He will go, yes. After registration, yes. He prints examination slip from our website. And that's the examination slip that he or she will bring to the examination center. The slip allows the candidate to gain entrance into the center, but it is the finger that allows him into the hall. What that means is that somebody can hold it when he gets there. If his finger does not correspond with the finger that registers, that person will not be allowed to take that examination. With the introduction of CBT, sir, because I've heard some people saying, why can't they release the result on the screen? Sir, with due respect, those who are experts in education know that that cannot be done. It's not proper to do so because it's unprofessional to do it. If you conduct an exam for such people and you release the result on the screen, assuming you do that and half of the class fail, and they decide to damage the computer in the place, what will happen? So there are professional reasons behind everything we do. Apart from that, people know what is called standardization of results. You have to find the average, the mean of the batch. Because many people, they are comparing us with SAT, with TOEFL. I think it's because they are not experts in education management. And I want to urge anybody who wants to contribute to education matter to please be learned, to have exposure about the matter so as not to create undue confusion. Sir, this CBT center will now go, and after some time we release the result. The third one that we do, sir, is ranking. The public thinks we are releasing results. We are releasing ranking. That's what the public calls result. I will explain it further, sir. One of the misunderstood aspects of UTME is that its purpose is not to test the ability of the individual candidate in isolation, but to rank available candidates in the batch. Those of us who are in secondary school, primary school, you know they won't say you have 1 credit, 2 credit. They will say first position, second position, third position in English, third position in the whole class. Class 3A will be different from 3B. So that somebody who came who is first in class 3B, maybe if he were to be in A, it would be maybe number 17. Depending on the quality of your batch, that's what determines what your position is. So the examination we are conducting is a ranking examination. It is not to determine the quality of the person, but to rank available candidates in the batch. It is a basic lesson in educational assessment that there are 2 classes of tests, criterion reference and norm reference. The basic difference is that the former individual candidate is being individually assessed. Against what? Against a predetermined standard which he must meet. For instance, if you are sitting for SSC biology, the pass mark is no. If you are sitting for mathematics or for chemistry, the pass mark is predetermined that this is the pass mark. against which a candidate, that's why we could say you have 6 seats, you have A1, and so on. In the case of UTME, there is no pass or fail because it's a norm reference exam. Everybody in the class can pass, everybody in the class can fail. The purpose of UTME is to rank people within the batch, and that's why it's called norm reference. There is no criterion, unlike school side, for example, Mr. Chairman. Before somebody can be said to have a credit in biology in school side, he will have taken examination for 3 years that we call continuous assessment test. That in biology. In addition to that, that carries 40% of the score. And he will now do biology 1, biology 2, biology 3. They will combine everything before they give that person what we call achievement test certificate in biology. Our own examination is not achievement test. It's an examination to rank available students within a given batch. Mr. Chairman, education experts have not been able to convince the public. I don't know how to do it. I'm seizing this opportunity with you to even try to still say that let people be educated so that they do not misinform the public about what we are doing. An expert from Ghana wrote a very ridiculous, a sarcastic letter or article about this debate in Nigeria. And he asked, why don't you speak to your people who read education in the house, to talk to their colleagues, to educate them about the examination you are conducting? Our examination is not, it's just like somebody who wants to be admitted into Nigerian Army this year, he applies. All of them apply. You say everybody must have first degree, minimum of third class. And they applied. You conduct exam for them. Next year, another batch is coming. I now say, store the exam they have this year. How do you rank it to be able to take the people next year? The board uses scores to rank the people. Mr. Chairman, sir, because of time, I had wanted to show you on the screen the sample of how ranking is done. Then, after this had been done, Mr. Chairman, we sent this to the institution. UTME score that they have is just the ranking of the candidates. It's not the overall ranking. The institution will do their post-UTME. Some will do physical exercise like Nigerian Army and the Police College did. They will add it to it. And after adding it to JAM score, they return it to us for proper overall ranking. The fact that somebody scored 380 in UTME does not make him number one, because other things will still be added to it before we now rank them and say this is the final ranking. But unfortunately, the emphasis of the people, most people, is on UTME. And that's why they say, why do you allow somebody with 140 over 400? Because they don't know the purpose of the examination. And I have always been, and I think Director of Public Affairs made one example that I really like. If you apply, you say you want graduates to be recruited into the National Assembly, and you say the minimum qualification is third class. It does not mean that you are going to admit third class candidates. What it means is that if there is a situation, the lowest that can be taken is third class, if there is no second class or second class upper or first class in that field. It means that's the minimum. But it will be wrong for somebody to now say, because you say the minimum is third class, you are bringing third class into the class. Third class comes in when there is no first class or second class in that field. Mr. Chairman, sir, our examination, we conduct our examination, as I've said, and after we send the ranking to the institution. We are therefore saying that our system appears to me to be foolproof. We have not seen anybody who has ever, since 2016, who has ever been able to penetrate what we are doing. And it takes a lot of input of experts, a lot of money to do that. One major headache, if there is any headache that we have, is that we have few institutions who conduct their admission, some admission outside CAPS, because they know that CAPS will not allow anything that is not straightforward. Because it's permanent, it's there. That's why any candidate can write to me and say, I believe I should be admitted and I was not admitted. I will call him to come and see. Many institutions, we have called their attention to it. Look at this, the apology. But when we have 100 complaints, maybe only 1 or 2 will be right. Because the candidates themselves don't familiarize themselves with, you come from Enugu, you apply to University of Ife. The only way you can be taking University of Ife is for you to be on merit. After merit, you are out. Just the same way somebody from Osun go to University of Nigeria, Nsukka, it cannot be considered on catchment. Every state has its own catchment. Once that state is not your catchment, you can only be admitted on merit. Once you fall below merit, you have lost the admission to that unless you come from educationally disadvantaged states. Mr. Chairman, sir, in the matter of Mmesoma Joy Ejikeme, which was the purpose of our coming here, this lady, the attention of the board was drawn to a candidate by name Ejikeme Joy Mmesoma, who claimed to have sat and obtained 362 in the 2023 exercise. This, I say again, is absolutely false, because there is no such score in 2023. The highest was 360. We are the custodian of the result. The first person to see result will be Mr. Okoro, and he will pass it to me. And therefore, I'm in possession. Therefore, in position to advise the nation that pays my salary that this is false. Candidates, and in order to prove this, I want to give you a number of evidence. I just believe that I must give them because you have called us. I have harvested 19 evidence to prove, which I don't necessarily need to do, Mr. Chairman, sir. Investigation has also implicated an article. One of the respected national newspaper in this country published an article on the 22nd of August 2022. We have given you the article, sir. And as innocent as the article, the title of the article is How to Score High in JAMB. But if you look down, you will see on that page the telephone number of a person that you can approach to upgrade your score for you. It's there, we have given it to you. And that is where all of them, when you read the article, it's so innocent. But because of people with criminal tendencies, they are now put something, I put it there, on the 22nd of August, they put it there, one Mr. Paul, and that if you go, it can help you to change 150 to 300 and so on. We have also found that it is from that article that Mmesoma got the code from. That code that she used is the code, because today if you take that article, which we have given you a copy, 22nd August 2022, in that page, look at that QR code and barcode. They are barcode and QR code used by Mmesoma for the forging of this current one. Sir, how did we come into it? That's the final leg. We came into it because we announced at our policy meeting 10 best scoring candidates. And when we announced them, we announced with a caveat. Don't celebrate these people, because it's possible for somebody to score 380 over 400 and not be admitted. Because it's not the score that admits the candidate, Mr. Chairman. It's 5-0 level. We have seen many candidates who score 370. If he or she does not have 5 credits, he goes nowhere. So you're celebrating him or giving him anything is just an exercise in futility. So we announced the 10 best highest scorer. And based on that, and the person unfortunately came from Anambra State with 360. Well, after we have done that, the Commissioner for Education in Anambra State got in touch with the board that there is a protest that somebody scored 362. Why are we giving it to 360? And we look at our system, give us the name of the person who scored 362. Then Mmesoma was supplied. And we said the score of Mmesoma was 249 and not
Mr. Chairman,
point
of order. And again, insist that he gives us a summary of the issues as he sees it as an institution, rather than reading through everything that he has submitted to us for want of time.
Thank you, sir. I do that in 3 minutes.
Point of order 16.
Fortunately, Anambra State government contacted us, and we set up a committee under Mr. Okoro to interface with them. And the reports of that committee we have also tendered to you. Mr. Chairman, sir, we also took the following decisions. We took decision to withdraw the result of 249 of Mmesoma. We banned her for 3 years from taking any examination conducted by JAMB. And in doing that, let me also call you, there are 109 of them who committed serious infraction or the other. Last year, they were over 2,000. But because of firm steps we take, they are reducing. As I speak with you, Akure High Court had remanded 4 of them until November in prison custody.
Or a statement in defense of the argument presented before this committee is hereby admitted. In the course of the investigative hearing, one of our witnesses came in the person of Ms. Mmesoma, HK Joy Mmesoma. You are welcome. I think she's in company of her father. And is her father here with us?
Yes, sir.
And you're welcome, sir. And councils are here in accordance. Ms. Mmesoma.
Can we join Mmesoma?
May I ask you, how old are you?
I'm 9.
Sit down, sit down. You have every right like us. Use the microphone. How old are you?
19 years old.
19 years old. Based on this investigation that is going on.
Your submissions, even though I had read that over before now, and you were just short of passing a verdict, which the chairman stopped you. I have a few concerns. You mentioned that there was an article sometime in August last year, and that article tended to encourage fraud, if I understood you well, because it said how you can score high, but aside from that, had a number that was sort of indicative that if you contact that number, certain things can happen. You almost said it's possible that that could have led to a few of the infractions that you have, not just for Mmesoma. In your words, You have others that you're investigating. For the previous years, you also have had issues. Some people are locked up somewhere by virtue of the fact that they are appearing before a court. When you read the article, what actions did you take as to ensure that nobody falls prey of the antics? That's one, sir. Two, you had laid credence in one of your paragraphs that indeed your examination is not a true test of one's competence or intelligence. It is just to rank a couple of people who aspire to get to the university. And even if you score 380, it's no guarantee that you could get admissions. Are you still in the practice or in the habit of catchment areas? If you are doing catchment areas, is it not a disservice to intelligence and competence? Probably the nation Nigeria may have taken a leaf from the fact that because I come from my village and there is a school in my village, I can score lower than somebody from Sokoto who is much more intelligent than me. I will get admission and he will not. Are you sure that this country has not leveraged on this loophole to promote incompetence in some areas? Then, I have another concern, sir. And my concern is just very simple, sir. Do you think that you require to strengthen your laws? Or, put differently, through the 18 sections of the Act establishing your board, did Parliament donate rights to punish? The 18 sections of the law that establish your board, has Parliament donated the right to punish? Mr. Chairman, I will hold it at this point. If there is any need later, maybe I will have to come back. Thank you.
Members of the JAM team here. Mr. Mmesoma, UTME, your family and council, members of the press, my name remains Honorable Obi Agocha, representing the fantastic people of Ikuano, Umuahia North and Umuahia South Federal Constituency. Mr. Registrar, for me it is critically important that Nigerians are not put in any further position to lose confidence in any of our institutions, especially through man-made glitches. So most of us have prayed for today that JAM at least will not be found incompetent. And I also pray for my sister. Do not let yourself be believed that you're the first person that have made fundamental errors in examination forgeries or otherwise.
Honourable Member, can you go straight to your
Yes,
question?
sir.
Yes, so that we can manage our time.
So the question I'm going to ask JAM are twofold. Mr. Registrar, you talked about, at least you admitted that no system is foolproof. So do you have any experience where some members of your staff are in connivance with external parties to leak examination questions? And secondly, you spoke about ranking. My question to that is, if tests are not ranked, then why the cutoff point? Mr. Chairman, I yield the balance of my time.
As a father and a parliamentarian, I
concern myself primarily to the issue between Mmesoma and JAM, the one that have brought us together tonight. And I have every reason to commend JAM and to commend Mmesoma and her father for the boldness displayed in accepting their fault. This should serve as a big lesson to all the youths and those that will sit examinations in this country and even beyond. Mmesoma, if other countries can copy our model, then you should know that this model is a very good one. So please, you become an ambassador to those that may have plans of doing something like this. Preach to them that committing sin does not pay. If you go to church, you read the Bible, you go to mosque, you read the Holy Book, you think it is a yoke. Punishment even happens here before it gets there. And I use this opportunity to appeal to JAM to tender justice with mercy in this case. Please. Thank you very much.
Just address, yes. Is it
Thank you.
Mmesoma? Okay. Can you kindly be brief?
Yes,
Honorable?
I'll be brief, Mr.
I thought
Chairman.
you members said you won't, you will not ask her anything.
I just want us to take parliamentary notice based on all we have heard, both from JAM and from the candidates. Number one, my greatest concern when this matter broke was the integrity of the system in JAM. I want to put it on record, if you can confirm, Registrar, that yes, we can go ahead and believe that your system is foolproof. Because I took notes of everything you said here, and I made notes of about 15 points that reassures me that your system is foolproof. Now, that said, number two, I want us to also take parliamentary notice that the candidate who has admitted the infractions is a first offender. Number three, I want us to also, by way of my own remark, the candidates, you have heard that what you have done, you have actually admitted that what you have done is not right. We are aware, and the system is trying to refine itself, because leaders have not even been your leaders have not been good examples to you. Hence, we have things like falsifications, we have like election rigging, and so on and so forth. But we want you to know that something is right and something is wrong, and that you have departed from the path of the wrong side to rectitude. These three remarks being confirmed, I think I can beat my chest and say that the whole activities of this committee has yielded a lot of progress. And that is the whole idea of this committee work. Please, thank you very much for the opportunity.
Committee to discharge Ms. Mmesoma so that she can rush to the airport. Thank you for coming, Mmesoma's father. Thank you for coming. The secretariat will definitely sort you out, and then so that you can rush to the airport. The driver is outside waiting for you to take you to the airport. They have arranged your tickets and the necessary sundry things so that you get home well. Yes. You're welcome. Okay. Jam, how much time?